Good evening, everyone. I am your host, That Jaguar Guy, and today I'm going to be doing the first ever 7-round mock draft for the Jacksonville Jaguars on this channel. Expect a couple more of these before the actual draft, but this is the first one I'm doing. Pre-free agency edition, and I'm very excited. It's the first time I've ever done one of these full-blown 7-round mock drafts. I've done a couple originally this was going to be a 3-round mock draft video, but I decided to go full-blown 7 rounds. Why? I really don't know. It's more fun for me. I like looking at players. I like reading about these players. It's just fun for me. So, decided to go for all 7. Some of these players might seem a little weird. I used the PFF mock draft simulator. In my opinion, the best simulator for mock drafts. I wish I took a screenshot of the actual mock draft I did, because it graded me a B- for the overall draft grade. So, I mean, that's fair. PFF's a little weird when it comes to the draft prospects, but it's okay. Some of these picks might seem a little weird. That's fine. Everyone probably has a different opinion about what the Jaguars should do in the draft, so please let me know in the comment section below what you agree with and what you disagree with. If you agreed with everything, then, I mean, yay, we have the same opinions, but if most likely you disagreed with at least one of my picks. If you did, let me know, and we can talk about it. Probably not going to get me to change my mind, but always like to hear other people's opinions. We have 9 picks in total in this draft. I don't know the logistics of the Calvin Ridley trade, so we might have less picks, so this is the 9 players that I think we should select overall. And, yeah, we start off with pick number 24. And we end with pick number 228. So, not the best starting spot. Pick 24. This is a very good draft class, though. So, I think there's a lot of good players we can snag at pick 24. And beyond that, I've heard rumors that we could trade up in this mock. I'm not going to do any trades. It's a little bit too complicated. I just want to imagine the Jags stay with every single pick that they have. No trades at all. And who I'd select here. So let's start. Pick number 24. I went with Anton Harrison. Now, I've talked about him before in my potential draft targets for the Jacksonville Jaguars video. Go check it out if you haven't. Big pass protector guy. And that's what we need. We need to protect Trevor Lawrence. Since, he's our franchise quarterback, we need to continue to build around Trevor Lawrence. I think with the players available, picking Anton Harrison at this position is a little bit of a reach. Potentially, I could see us, if we really want Anton, trading back is not the worst idea. Maybe trading back to, pick 40. I think we could still get Anton Harrison, maybe. I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but we could. But Anton Harrison, I love his length. I'm going back on the draftnetwork.com. Link in the description again, my favorite website for draft prospects. He's 6'5", 309 pounds, incredible length. No one's getting by him in pass coverage, so, not pass coverage, but pass defense. No one's gonna get by him. He does have a little bit of a liability in run defense, but if the choice is between a good pass protector and a good run blocker. Jeez, I confuse the two all the time. Run blocker, then I'm going to go with the pass protector simply because I'd rather build around Trevor Lawrence than Travis Etienne. Love Etienne, but Trevor's the main priority here. Seeing what the Draft Network has to say about him, with increased functional strength and technical growth, Harrison has the potential to be a starting left tackle in the NFL early in his career. Yeah, that's something he does lack is functional strength, but there is always a chance there's always potential to grow, and that's a good thing. If a player still has potential to grow, that means he hasn't hit his ceiling yet, and we can continue to develop him. This is a good player to probably a day 1 starter. Looking at the left tackle right now, it's Cam Robinson, and Walker Little is the second string. I've heard rumors that we could trade Cam Robinson, and if that's the case, then Anton Harrison can come in and fit nice and tidy in that position. Love Walker Little, but begs the question, which one will be better between Anton and Walker Little? Maybe Jawan Taylor walks and we trade Cam Robinson, so it's Walker Little and Anton Harrison. Who knows? But I'm going to go with him with the first pick. Who would I pass on? Michael Mayer is the big one. A lot of people would be like, oh, take Mayer here. Why? Why take Mayer? Evan Ingram by the day looks more and more likely that he is going to stay in Jacksonville. Plus, you get the opportunity of a franchise tag, which if you saw, I think it was on a podcast or something, like a radio show, he was talking about the franchise tag. He didn't seem too mad about the fact that they could potentially franchise tag him. So, either way, I'm pretty sure we have Ingram for another year. Why waste a first-round pick on a tight end when there's other glaring holes in this roster? Instead of trying to get another pass catcher for Trevor, get someone who can protect him better and allow for the other pass catchers already on the team to receive the ball. Dalton Kincaid, same thing. I mean, Kincaid's really good. I like Mayer and Kincaid, actually. I think they're great players. If one of them falls to us in the second round, I say we could take one of them, but probably not. I don't even think Michael Mayer is going to be available at pick 24. Like, I see everyone mocking him. I think the Packers or the Lions scoop him up before we do. I mean, the Lions have a very young offense. Why not continue to add to that with a pick like Michael Mayer? Packers need some pass catchers for Jordan Love. Michael Mayer's a perfect option for them. I don't think Michael Mayer falls at 24. I think Dalton Kincaid has more likely to fall at 24. And Kincaid, in my opinion, I think he has more upside than Michael Mayer. But I think Michael Mayer's overall right now a better player. But, again, same thing. I'd rather take someone who can protect Trevor than just be another option for Trevor. Osiris Torrance. I love Osiris Torrance. I think he's a great player, but I favor the pass protection over the run protection. Running the ball is important, but I feel like Anton is a better pass protector than Osiris, and I feel like we need to have those pass protectors to protect Trevor more than allowing for Travis Etienne to go off into big spurts of the run. I think we already have enough of those types of players to pave the way, a path for Travis. Travis is, I think, a smaller back too, so I mean, you don't need to surround the entire line with a bunch of run defenders. I think Anton's perfect for this, and I'd just rather pass protection over run protection. BJ Ojulari was almost the pick here. I think this is just a very deep defensive class. I think there's a lot of potential starters on defense, even into like the 4th round, especially in like on the D line. I think if BJ's picked here, I'm fine with it. I think BJ's a hell of a player, but I'd rather use this first round pick to build around Trevor. Get Trevor the protection. He's gonna be happy with that instead of building around the D line, who right now our edge rushers are Fatukasi, Roy Robertson Harris, is nose tackle edge position? No, not really, but edge rushers are Fatukasi, Robertson Harris, Dwayne Smoot, and Arden Key. Those are our 4. Roy Robertson Harris might get cut. Dwayne Smoot might leave. Arden Key might leave. I think there's a good chance that one of these 3, Arden Key, Dwayne Smoot, and Roy Robertson Harris, does stay. I don't think all 3 of them leave. So it's already a quality starter there. We don't really need to re-sign Arden Key or Dwayne Smoot just for them to sit behind BJ Ojulari. In my opinion, that's not the best idea. I'd rather get someone in a later round edge rusher that can sit maybe for a year or 2 and then go in. Learn a little bit, then go. Same with Nolan Smith. I mean, that's like the same thing. I like Nolan Smith a lot, but he's an underdeveloped pass rusher, and if I'm going to get an underdeveloped pass rusher, I'd rather snag one in a later round, so we don't waste a pick. But that's my pick 24. Probably the main pick in the entire draft, so moving on to pick 56. I've spoken about Darnell Washington a lot, and that's who I'm picking at 56. By the way, all these players that I'm listing available, they were all available on the PFF mock draft, so yeah. Darnell Washington. His blocking is incredible. He's got a big pass catching upside. He's 6'7" and 265 pounds. It's a big big guy for Trevor to hit. And it's going to be hard to miss him. Some concerns about him, though, was his lack of production. I believe Georgia ran 2 tight ends, so he didn't get as much attention because the other tight end was way better. Maybe I think his name's like Brock Bowers or something. I don't know. But Darnell Washington is a great fit. And here's why. Back when Doug Peterson was with the Eagles, he ran a 2 tight end system. He had, what's his name? Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. Worked really well. Won a Super Bowl. Duh. We know that. Being able to do that again with Evan Ingram and Darnell Washington is great. Evan Ingram, let me take a look at him real quick. I don't really know his like height and weight and stuff. But Evan Ingram is 6'3", 240. Small. He's pretty big, but he's a little bit smaller. He's very fast, very quick. He knows how to get open. You got contrast that with Darnell Washington, 6'7", 265. You got a larger tight end. He's gonna block more than Evan Ingram would. Still has that pass catching upside. You pair him up with Ingram. That's another high threat you have to worry about, and you didn't waste a first-round pick on him. This is a perfect pick, in my opinion. No one can tell me this is not a perfect pick. Trevor Lawrence is another person. Very easy target. 6'7". Not many people are going to be taller than that in the league. Pass it to... You have Darnell... You have to worry about Evan Ingram, who's speedster, knows how to get around the field, knows how to get open. Calvin Ridley knows how to go deep, knows how to get open. Christian Kirk, the security blanket. You also got Marvin Jones maybe running around. Zay Jones running around maybe. And then you add Darnell Washington to that list, who's probably a day 1 starter, tight end 2. It's going to be a lot of people to try and cover. So that's why I love this pick. And the fact that he's still a quality pass catcher, even though he has that run block, or not the run block, just the blocking speciality, is incredible. Let's see what the Draft Network says about him. Washington projects as an inline traditional wide tight end. He's outstanding asset on running downs due to his blocking prowess. Washington works both in gap and zone blocking schemes. He possesses an upside as a pass catcher with more opportunities and targets. Remember, he didn't get much targets in Georgia. He only got 28 receptions, 454 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Which is still pretty good. I believe to get the best out of him, his route should be attacking the seams and across the middle of the field off a hard play action. He is a zone beater that can find soft spots to settle into. Washington does bring outstanding potential in the red zone as a blocker and receiver. He has the potential to develop into a reliable passing option. A tight end 1 for an offense, but a tight end 2 at worst. That's what I love. The fact that he could be a tight end 1, but his floor is tight end 2, which on Jacksonville, at least for a year or a couple, however long we extend Evan Ingram, he's going to be a tight end 2. May even develop into a tight end 1. Who knows? But I absolutely love this pick. Yeah, this pick is incredible. I'm going to hype up this pick all day. Still available. I passed on Isaiah Foskey. Love Isaiah Foskey, one of my favorite players in round 2. A little surprised he was still there, but he's an amazing edge rusher, in my opinion. I think he's an edge rusher, yeah. Amazing edge rusher, in my opinion. But you got to take a tight end in round 2. You can't continue to wait. Darnell Washington is the perfect fit for this team. I didn't want to settle on like a worser tight end to take an edge rusher, because Jags don't have the best luck with drafting edge rushers. So I would rather take Darnell Washington, who, at worst, he can sit behind Ingram and not get many snaps. But I like the upside better in Darnell Washington than Isaiah. Pass on Matthew Bergeron, I think that's how you say it. Another quality player. I already drafted Anton Harrison, though, so there's no point in getting 2 offensive tackles in a row. Derek Hall, he's an underdeveloped pass rusher and a risky pick. I like the safety blanket plus the upside with Darnell Washington instead of going for a boomer bust type player with Derek Hall. We're going to move on to pick number 88. We got Clark Phillips III. Very underrated cornerback in this class, in my opinion. I only figured out about him while researching for this pick, and I liked what I saw from Mr. Clark Phillips. He is a shorter size, 5'10", What is he? No, that's Darnell Washington. Sorry, 5'10", 185 pounds, 6 interceptions, 6 passes defended, 14 tackles. 2 of those interceptions were returned for touchdowns. Yeah, he's a high quality player. Knows how to find the ball. He's got good ball skills. Very, very tough. The only downside I can see about him is his size. Clark Phillips is also a slot corner, which is what we need. We have an outside corner in Tyson Campbell, and we need someone to counter or to play alongside him in the slot. Shaquille Griffin, 100%. There's no way he stays on the team. If he stays on the team, then I'm selling my kidney because that's ridiculous. Clark Phillips is a perfect. I think he's a day one starter. I might be like the only one who thinks that. Let's see what the draft network has to say about him. When it comes to concerns, Phillips III doesn't offer ideal height, weight, or length. While he competes well above his weight class, teams were not shy about forcing him to play off contact and tackle. Phillips III may not check all the boxes in terms of size, but he's a damn good football player that provides every other desirable trait at a high level to be an impact starter in the NFL. He has him rated as the 6th best cornerback in the league, or in this class, above guys like Emmanuel Forbes and Q Blue Kelly. Phillips, I think this is a steal in pick 88. If he falls to pick 88, this is a steal. Getting a quality slot corner like Clark Phillips is necessary. I do wish he was a little bit taller. That's like the main thing. But if he's playing mostly in the slot, maybe he doesn't have to worry about height that much. He's got the speed. He's got the quick feet. He's very tough as well. So, yeah, I like this pick. I passed on J.L. Skinner, safety. He's not the best in man coverage, but I really like that Skinner was good against tight ends. Why? We're in a conference with Travis Kelce. It's a pretty good tight end. So, and if you watch the divisional game, we were not covering Travis Kelce real well. So Skinner could be there to cover Travis Kelce. But I ended up going with the slot corner over a safety because I still think Cisco and Rayshawn Jenkins are quality starters. As much as I'm not the biggest fan of Rayshawn Jenkins, I do think he's still starting caliber safety. And I'd rather go with the slot corner considering if we cut Campbell, our starting cornerback 2, or right cornerback, whatever it's... Right cornerback? What's it called? Where is it? Right cornerback is going to be Monteric Brown. I like my chances with Clark Phillips III over Monteric Brown. Not gonna lie. Pass on Jalen Jones. Just not a fan of Jalen Jones. I watched some of his film. It's not my type of player. I'd rather take Clark Phillips over him. Noah Sewell. Already got some pretty good linebackers. I'm also surprised he fell at pick 88. He's also a damn good football player. But we already got some good linebackers. Our linebackers are stacked right now. Devin Lloyd, Olakun, Trayvon Walker. Devin Lloyd, Olakun, Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker. I mean, those are some really good linebackers. Noah Sewell seems like the type that would probably start like on day 1. So, no really need to get a new starting caliber linebacker right now. If we're going to get a linebacker, let's wait till a later round, get someone who can develop behind some of these older players. Yeah, Clark Phillips III, again, another pick I really like. KJ Henry is pick number 121. This is an interesting one. He's a rotational edge rusher, and I love this pick. Look at our edge rushers we got right now. Considering we're walking into next season with this roster, Roy Robertson Harris, Dwayne Smoot, Arden Key, Fadakasi. In my opinion, Key starts at left defensive end, and Smoot probably starts at right defensive end. We got a rotational guy in KJ Henry who can play some additional snaps. He's a quality player, but he doesn't have to start the entire year. He can sit behind some of these guys for maybe a year or two, play rotational, and then when he's finally ready, you can get him to start maybe in year 3, maybe even year 4. He's a hell of a player, too. He's got, let me read his draft network summary here. Expectations for Henry are essential to putting him in the best position to succeed in the NFL. His most likely path to NFL success is rooted in playing on the early downs and ensuring you have additional threats in the front if he's going to stay on the field in obvious passing situations to offer him one-on-one opportunities. In such an environment, he's a potential starter but more likely a rotational defender in the NFL for a majority of teams. I like that. I like that he's a rotational player. Some of his qualities, he's got good recognition skills, and I love his length. 6'4", 260 pounds. He's still quick, but he's also really tall. He had 3.5 sacks, 4 QB hits, 6 tackles for loss, and 27 tackles as a rotational player on Clemson. Some of our full-time starters got less than 3.5 sacks. If he's rotating and he's still getting like 2 to 3 sacks, that's pretty good. I feel like he's a big player that we can develop, high upside, keep him as a rotational player for a couple years, and then we start him maybe full-time. And players I passed on, Andrew Voorhees, I don't know why he's still here. He's a really good football player. I just put him there just to mention how he shouldn't be here. If he's there, maybe you take him. I don't know. I really like this pick, though. Chase Brown, he's a second solid back, but the next pick will explain why I'm not taking Chase Brown here. And Zach Evans, just wait a little bit. Actually, wait like 5 seconds because the next pick 127, is Zach Evans, running back. And I like this pick again because you need a solid second running back behind Travis Etienne in case he's hurt or he gets tired. JaMycal Hasty was solid, but I feel like I think he's not a free agent. He's like a weird free agent. Maybe he leaves this year. I don't know. If he's a free agent, then he's probably not staying around on the team. Maybe he is. I don't know. I'm not really familiar with JaMycal Hasty that much. I remember watching him and I was like, oh, he's a quality player. But getting a solid back behind Travis Etienne, in my opinion, is a great idea. Reading what the Draft Network has to say about him. Overall, Evans has the physicality tools necessary to be a productive NFL player, but there are detailed aspects of his game that need to be improved on that will ultimately decide how successful his professional career will be. Yeah, some of his improvements is pass protection, lack of production in the receiving game. He's very scheme specific. So he's 6 foot and 215 pounds. He's not going to be the best when it comes to punching it into the red zone, but he's going to be available for these quick little bursts, getting the first down when necessary if Travis is off the field. Players I passed on with Zach Evans, Andrew Voorhees is still available. I don't know why he's still there. Chase Brown, I almost took him instead of Zach, but I like Zach's physicality better. It's more tougher than Chase's. Chase has more of a nose for the end zone, and I don't think I want to draft a running back who's going to be punching in touchdowns instead of just a running back who can serve as a quality second back. And then Blue Kelly, I'm just going to call him Kelly. He's mostly an outside corner, and he misses a lot of tackles, so not the pick for me here. Maybe he's taken here. If he is, not the end of the world, but in my opinion, not the right pick. Pick 185, got Mekhi Garner. Safety, I believe. No, cornerback out of LSU. Not the most productive 2022 to 2023 season. 26 tackles, that's it. He's got, again, high upside. He's going to be a good red zone cornerback. Now, I wanted to kind of get a little bit of everything in this class. You got Tyson Campbell, who's pretty good, lining up with receivers on the outside. We just got our slot corner. Now we got someone who also works in the slot, but specializes in red zone defending. He doesn't have the best speed, so if someone's running like 30 yards past, or like out of, like, let's say the play is longer than 30 yards, he's probably not going to be matched up against receiver and win that matchup. But if it's a red zone play, he's probably going to lock down and get the ball away from the receiver. He's also a really good run defender. Again, he's very good at tackling. But I don't see him as a starter. I see him as a rotational player. I see him going in on like red zone snaps, maybe some run defense. You never know. We'll see what the Draft Network has to say about him. It appears that Garner has a good acceleration and initial burst to stay in stride with receivers in the 30-yard range, but after that, it appears that receivers can begin separation. Like I said, good for red zone. He's also a reliable tackle. The only problem with him I see is his speed is not elite, which is fine considering the Jags don't really need a receiver who can get down, or cornerback who can zoom down the field. They need a slot corner. Mekhi fits that really well. Passed on Asim Richards. He's a run blocker specialist, and he's not the best athletic player, so I thought I'd rather take Mekhi over him. Ronnie Bell is not a bad player, just not for the Jags. Mostly specializes in kick returning, but he's also a solid wide receiver 2 or 3. And Thomas Nkouma, I think, is the best player available at 185 if he's picked here. Honestly, more than fine. I think cornerback is a more needed spot than another edge rusher, considering KJ Henry is perfect for what the Jags need as an edge rusher. But I'd rather take another cornerback than another edge rusher. It was mostly came down to, do I want to take the best cornerback available, or do I want to take the next best edge rusher available? And I chose cornerback. I chose Mekhi over Nkoum. Maybe that comes to bite me. Maybe it doesn't. But Nkoum and Mekhi can flip-flop, and either way. Upsides of Nkoum is really good. The upsides of Mekhi is pretty good. So, pick 202, safety DeMarco Hellams. Very versatile. Very versatile. This is a guy who I think can sit behind Jenkins and Cisco again for a year or two. This is what I was talking about with why I didn't draft a safety earlier on, because I want a guy who can sit for a couple years, maybe 1 or 2 years, and try and get a little bit more better. He had 62 tackles in his 2022 season. That's big. That's really good. Only 1 interception, 2 passes deflected. Tackle god. Problems with him is his speed, not the best speed. He's 6'1", 208 pounds. Mostly going to be a strong safety, probably, who our current strong safety is Rayshawn Jenkins, so that works out really well. He can sit behind Rayshawn or maybe wind guard and develop a little bit. I think he could come in for some scenarios, especially in the red zone. Very good red zone defender. This is what Draft Network has to say about him. Helms is a player that has played multiple alignments, but in the NFL it appears that his best uses will become in the traditional strong safety role in a zone defense. I don't know if the Jags are a zone defense, but I heard strong safety. I saw that. Up here it says his best play comes when he's playing the hook, curl, or middle of the field defender in zone. That mostly means tight ends. I noticed tight ends like to go to the middle, so maybe he can cover tight ends pretty well. I saw that and I was like, okay, we passed on the tight end covering safety earlier. Maybe we can take a similar player in DeMarco. So, DeMarco Hellams. I passed on Jake Bobo. Again, another reliable pass catcher, but not a position of need with this pick. And I passed on Warren McClendon. He's a solid option, but I don't want to take another offensive tackle. Maybe for depth, that's fine. But DeMarco Hellams is pick 202. Pick 208, I take Mohamed Diabate. This is for depth only. Linebacker. Probably need some more linebacker depth in my opinion. This is not someone who I see starting for a while. Maybe he's good enough to start, maybe he's not. He's mostly going to be playing special teams though, but he's got very good physicality. I like what I see from him. Draft Network says Diabate has the makings of a developmental starter that brings value to a variety of different ways. Given his ability to play in space, rush, and downhill, his skill set also projects well to special teams. Maybe he can play special teams. He's 6'3", 221. As a linebacker, he's pretty good. He's got 1 forced fumble, 5 sacks, 35 tackles in the 2022 season. Maybe he starts. I actually don't see a scenario where he starts at all. I think he sits for a while, plays some special teams. Maybe if the Jags decide to trade Josh Allen, he gets his time to shine. You never know. But I think Diabate is the pick here. We pass on Warren again. And I passed on Elijah Higgins, another receiver, but I like Muhammad's upside over Higgins' upside. And Higgins isn't the best vertical threat either, and if I'm looking for a receiver in this draft, I'm looking for someone who can go a little bit deeper, because Trevor can throw a beautiful deep ball. Finally, the last pick, I'm taking a receiver, Jalen Wayne. He's Draft Network says, making a case for Wayne as an NFL prospect. He possesses the necessary measurables, experience, and versatility to be successful. See Wayne being utilized in 7 different ways at the next level, both as an offensive threat and a special teamer. He's probably a wide receiver 4 at best for the Jags, considering Marvin Jones is most likely walking. Decided to pick up Jalen Wayne just to act as that wide receiver 4, solid option if needed, if necessary. Maybe he's sometimes a kick returner, maybe sometimes he's a special teams player. He could kind of do whatever he wants to do, just there for depth. I don't see him starting ever. I don't see him morphing into maybe a wide receiver 3 at best. Don't see him doing much. I passed on Jaden Hasselwood because I just picked the best receiver available, and he was the second best available in my opinion, but I went with Jalen instead. Just a preference, in my opinion. Just a preference. So that's going to do it for this mock draft. Here's the recap real quick. We took Anton Harrison, Darnell Washington, Clark Phillips III, KJ Henry, Zach Evans, Mekhi Gardner, DeMarco Hellams, Muhammad Diabate, and Jalen Wayne. Overall, I'm really happy with this draft class. If the Jacksonville Jaguars were to take all these players, wouldn't have much complaints. If I did have to have a complaint, I'd say a safety could be taken in the first 4 picks, but I also had to prioritize some other needs than a safety, considering I don't think Cisco and Rayshawn they're replaceable, but they're not like necessary to replace when we have someone like Jawan Taylor who might be leaving with Anton Harrison, kind of fills in that void. Cam Robinson might be traded. Again, Anton fills that void. Darnell Washington, tight end, is needed, especially if Evan doesn't re-sign. What just seems like a dumb thing to think at this point is that Evan's not re-signing, but it's 2 tight ends, deadly. Clark Phillips III, slot corner, probably the most needed position out of everything. KJ Henry, rotational edge rusher. Zach Evans can sit behind Travis Etienne, coming occasionally, just there for depth. Mekhi Gardner, another slot corner, could play really good in red zone defense. DeMarco Hellams, finally a safety who can cover over the middle real well, which means tight ends can get covered pretty easily by him, and he's really a reliable tackle. Can sit behind Jenkins and Cisco for a bit, and if he ever gets his chance to shine, he can get it. Muhammad Diabate, depth player at linebacker. That's all he's really going to be. Good upside, but all he's going to be for now is a developmental player. Jalen Wayne, solid wide receiver 4 to replace Marvin Jones. So, with that being said, hope you guys did enjoy this mock draft. It's kind of a longer video today. But if you do disagree with any of these picks, please let me know. If this is outright terrible, please let me know. And, yeah, we can talk about it. So, see you guys in the next one. Peace.